change, and my message is why wait? And you can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. And I think right now, the cool thing is that people are waking up.
Every public appearance that I've made that's related to the sort of topics that we're discussing is overwhelmingly men. It's like 85 to 90%. And so I thought, wow, that's weird. Like, what the hell's going on here exactly? And then the other thing I've noticed is that I've been talking a lot to the crowds that I've been talking to, not about rights, but about responsibility, right? Because you can't have the bloody conversation. What are you doing? You can't have the conversation about rights without the conversation about responsibility, because your rights are my responsibility. That's what they are, technically. So you just can't have only half of that discussion. And we're only having half that discussion. And the question is, well, what the hell are you leaving out if you only have that half of the discussion? And the answer is, well, you're leaving out responsibility. And then the question is, well, what are you leaving out if you're leaving out responsibility? And the answer might be, well, maybe you're leaving out the meaning of life. That's what it looks like to me. It's like, here you are, suffering away. What makes it worthwhile? Rights? You know, you're completely out. You have no idea what it's almost impossible to describe how bad an idea that is. Responsibility. That's what gives life meaning. It's like lift a load. Then you can tolerate yourself, right? Because look at, you're useless, easily hurt, easily killed. Why should you have any self-respect? That's the story of the fall. Pick something up and carry it. Make it heavy enough so that you can think, yeah, well, useless as I am, at least I could move that from there to there. Well, what's really cool about that is that when I talk to these crowds about this, the men's eyes light up. And that's very, like, I've seen that phenomenon because I've been talking about this mythological material for a long time. And I can see when I'm watching crowds, people, you know, their eyebrows lift, their eyes light up because I put something together for them. And that's what mythological stories do. So I'm not taking responsibility for that. That's what the stories do. So I say the story and people go click, 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 you know, and their eyes light up. But this responsibility thing, that's a whole new order of this, is that young men are so hungry for that, it is unbelievable. It just blows me away. It's like, really? That's the counterculture. Grow the hell up and do something useful. Really? I could do that? Oh, I'm so excited by that idea. No one ever mentioned that before. It's like rights, 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 rights. Jesus, it's appalling. And I feel that that's deeply felt by the people who are coming out to listen to these sorts of things too. They've had enough of that. So, and they better have, because it's a non-productive mode of being. Responsibility, man.
Life has no duplicate, as Jerry Jackson would say. And so you want to do life on your terms. You want to do you. You want to live each day as if it were your last and give it everything you have. And that's what I'm focused on, that my 77th year on the planet is to finish strong and to do things that will impact my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, and live a life that will outlive me. As we look at now where we are, there's a reckoning that's going on. And this is an incredible time to really turn things to your advantage. And there are a lot of people right now are looking and asking the question, what's next? Because life is disruptive, but also in the process, it's transformational. Because when there's a disruption, you have to transform yourself to accommodate the disruptions. You don't want to just be a victim or a witness. You want to be engaged and on top of your game in order to go to that next level. And New York requires that. The world requires that right now more than ever before. I asked a young man who was taking my bags, I said, what's your passion? He said, my children. He said in a split second. That grabbed me, because that's where I'm coming from. My children, that's my passion. The things that I do to generate money, that's one thing. But my passion is to help my kids have the tools they need to live a meaningful successful, impactful life, to be an asset to the world rather than a liability. And I know many of you feel the same way. And so as you look at yourself, look at your goals, and look at what do you want to do. How many of you are hungry for greatness? Let me see some hearts up in here, up in here. You have greatness in you. You have built-in greatness. But that greatness, it must be focused on. That greatness, it must be cultivated and developed. That greatness, it must be called forth. And as you work on yourself and work on your dreams and realize that you've been given the power, authority, and dominion to do more than you can ever begin to imagine.